Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The Twilight movies aren't perfect, and not just in terms of plot. There are plenty of mistakes you may have missed over the course of the 5 movies. Maybe your focus was somewhere else on the screen. Maybe you tricked yourself into thinking you didn't really see something. Most of these mistakes should have been caught in editing and not been part of the final product. It might not have been possible for some to be changed, depending on the takes available. However, some could have been fixed. We have compiled the mistakes you missed in the Twilight movies for you. Vampires don't always sparkle in the sun. As is established with these vampires, they sparkle in the sunlight, at least when it's necessary for the plot. Edward sparkled when he revealed that ability to Bella. He also sparkled when he wanted to get the Volturis's attention so they'd end his life. He thought Bella had lost hers because Jacob told him Charlie was preparing a funeral. However, there were many times in the movies where there should have been enough sunlight for a sparkle or two from one of the vampires. For example, in Twilight, when Bella first saw the Cullens entering the cafeteria, and when she and Edward were walking into school after she knew the truth. In New Moon, it looked sunny enough for a ray when Edward joined Bella outside school. In the field book-ending eclipse, Edward should have been sparkling the entire time. The boom mic in Bella's truck window in Twilight. Bella's father got her a pickup truck as a homecoming present when she came to Forks, Washington. She drove the truck to her first day of school. When she first pulled into a spot in the lot, there's a reflection of something in the window on the driver's side. It looked like a boom mic. If it was likely there to pick up the sounds of conversations, including Bella and Tyler's exchange. It lowered out of view in the window as the camera zoomed out as Bella got out of the truck. If it was a boom mic, it could have been removed in editing. Either someone didn't realize what it was, or at least looked like, or missed it. Bella's hair changed when Edward saved her in Twilight. Bella was distracted in the school parking lot when Edward saved her life. She had headphones in and was looking at the vampire across the lot when a car almost hit her. Tyler lost control while driving and would have hit her if Edward hadn't gotten between her and his car. Her hair was outside the hood of her coat when she was first at her car and throughout the almost accident. It was outside the hood while she and Edward were staring at each other. However, before Edward got up to leave, her hair was suddenly inside the hood of her coat. It stayed that way through the end of the scene while everyone else checked on her. The placement of Jacob's tattoo between New Moon and Eclipse. Before Jacob's werewolf side was triggered, he was just the long-haired, lovable best friend of Bella. Then, he was supposedly sick, at least that was what Bella thought, and she went to check on him. He'd changed by that point, and one of the changes was a tattoo. When Bella and the audience first saw the tattoo, it was high on his arm in New Moon. It was almost at the top of his shoulder. It seemed to move a bit lower on his arm in Eclipse. That was especially obvious when Bella went with him for protection. There had been an unknown intruder in her room, and they thought she'd be safe with the werewolves. Bella's boots. During the possible battle in Breaking Dawn. Part 2. It's very common that women just don't wear appropriate footwear during action scenes in movies and television shows. This was true for Bella and the fight that could have occurred in the final Twilight movie. She apparently had time for a shoe change mid-battle. She was wearing boots with heels when Aro threw her. She also had on heeled boots when she and Edward were on the ground planning their attack on Aro. However, when Edward threw her at Aro, she had on flat boots. She was wearing those boots when she kicked the Volturi vampire as well. A possible explanation is a stunt woman was wearing the different shoes, but they shouldn't have made that costume mistake. Smudges on Alice's note in Breaking Dawn. Part 2. After Alice had one of her visions, she and Jasper left the family before they all set out to find witnesses. They wanted people to attest to the fact that Renesmee was not an immortal child. She had been born, not turned into a vampire. The only one Alice clued in on her plan was Bella, because Aro couldn't read her mind. She left the family a note to gather witnesses and when to be ready on a page from The Merchant of Venice. The paper was clean when the Cullens received the note. It was also clean when Bella looked at it again in her and Edward's home. However, moments later, when Bella went to the bookcase to retrieve the book, there were smudges around Shakespeare's name on it. Victoria's eyes. After she lost her head in Eclipse, In the third movie, Victoria targeted Bella. She wanted Edward to lose the one he loved, just like he took the one she loved from her. He and the rest of the Cullens took James's life in the first move to save Bella. Edward fought alongside werewolf Seth against Victoria and a vampire she created, Riley. While Seth dragged off Riley, Edward took Victoria's life. After she lost her head and it fell to the ground with her body, her eyes were wide open. When Bella then looked at her body and head, however, her eyes were closed. There was no reason for that in the realm of Twilight. Vampires' eyes were open following the ends of their lives in the past, and that never changed, except with her. Jacob's changing shirt in New Moon. Jacob and Bella spoke about him becoming a werewolf and how his kind changed when vampires came to town. As they walked on the beach, his shirt changed color multiple times. The only possible explanation for that is they put together multiple takes in editing for the scene. As they spoke about vampires triggering the change, his shirt was gray. It changed to a shade of brown when she told him she didn't like his kind taking lives. It was the gray one again when she worried the vampires he went after could hurt him. It was brown again when he said they ended Laurent's life. It was gray again when he brought Bella home. The changing scarf knot in New Moon. Though Bella didn't want to celebrate her birthday, or for anyone to know it was, Alice did. She jumped over the stairs at the school to wish her a happy birthday and give her a present. Alice had already seen her open it and said she loved it. She also told her she was coming over to the Cullens' place for a birthday celebration. Alice then joined Jasper and walked away. Throughout Bella and Alice's conversation, the knot on Alice's scarf changed from loose to tight. The positions of the ends of the scarf changed as well, from spread open to closely together. It's a pretty obvious mistake, because the camera focuses on Alice multiple times during the conversation. The disappearing book in New Moon. At the beginning of the second movie, Bella dreamed about her aging while Edward looked the same. When she woke up from the dream, there was a Romeo and Juliet book on the pillow next to her. Then her father entered her room with birthday presents from himself and her mother. The book was no longer on her pillow, and there wasn't a moment she could have moved it. Bella took the camera he gave her and opened the scrapbook from her mother. Then the book was back on her pillow after she opened her gifts. There was no explanation for what happened to it. It was likely the result of cutting multiple takes together for the scene, but it should have been caught in editing. Bella's hair. During her transformation in Breaking Dawn. Part 1. The Cullens were ready for Bella to turn into a vampire after she gave birth. Once he got their baby out of her, Edward injected his venom into her heart and bit her. Though it took a while, she did change. Once they knew she was, they changed her into new clothes and waited for her to wake up. When she was lying down, however, she was lying on her hair, which was also under her shoulders. During her transformation, her body and the position of her hair changed. Somehow her hair moved from under her to on top of her shoulders. While she looked like she got a makeover once she was a vampire, her hair never moved. We have come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.